Now, remaining in the United States, a strike by port workers has suspended shipping operations along the entire East Coast. Talks between the workers' union and port owners are reported to be at a standstill. Workers are seeking a wage increase and job protection guarantees in the face of concerns about automation. It's estimated that half of North America's maritime trade passes through the affected ports. One estimate says the strike could cost the US economy $5 billion a day. Some businesses are calling on President Biden to invoke a Labour law authorizing the president to order a cooling-off period in the strike. Well, Jason Miller is a professor at Michigan State University and interim chair of the Department of Supply Chain Management. Welcome to DW. The union involved, the International Longshoremen's Association, said it had shut down all ports from Maine to Texas at 12:01 a.m. on Tuesday. And this was after it rejected the employer's supposedly final offer. But on Monday, the US Maritime Alliance, which represents the shipping firms, the port associations and the marine terminal operators, they said that final offer was 50%, triple employers' pension contributions and stronger health care options, which sounds like an amazing deal.
No, yeah, that's where we're at right now is USMX has put what they're claiming is their best offer on the table. The ILA, the Longshoremen Union in question, has rejected that. And so we are now in day 2 of a strike that is affecting all container shipping operations on the Eastern Gulf Coast ports, as well as what we call roll-on, roll-off operations, which concerns finished motor vehicles, construction equipment, and farm machinery.
Right. So what's wrong? Explain to us what the union is thinking there. A 50% increase in pay, increase help with healthcare, increased pension contributions. That sounds like a deal that a lot of unions would bite your arm off for.
I can't speak for the union on that front. I know in the United States there has been frustration looking at record container operator profitability, especially in 21 and 2022. I think there is probably some bias by the fact that the United States is not a major player in global container shipping operations. So there's this sense of foreign companies making profits and not essentially sharing those with American workers. I think that's where the union's at with the thought process. But again, I can't speak for them in that regard.
Fine, fair enough. Part of this is also said to be about technology, automation, machines, artificial intelligence and all that stuff, according to the ILA Vice President Herbert Hall. We'll hear him outlining some more of his objections and then come back to you.
Automation doesn't feed families. Automation doesn't pay taxes. These are the things our members make their livelihood off there. So we need to make sure we're protected in our jobs. So we know that there's automated terminals like in Rotterdam and places like that where people sit behind computers and running machines. We don't want that here. This is our livelihood and we're going to fight for it.
Well, Jason Miller, the future is coming and automation and AI are unstoppable, aren't they? Certainly as you look around the world, it's a fact of life.
No, it is. And in my state of Michigan, where auto assembly is so critical, we have half the number of people today working in the auto plants that we did 25 years ago, and half the number of people working in part suppliers that we did 25 years ago. But yet nationally as a country, we actually make more auto parts and more vehicles today than we did 25 years ago. And so the Eastern Gulf Coast ports, they're in somewhat of a unique situation that, unlike an industry like automotive, which has been a huge adopter of industrial robots and various technologies, there really is no substitution and you're not facing global competition. But the challenge is, too, is that automation, if it does take jobs away, that impact is felt very strong locally. But the benefits of improved automation, let's say more efficient container operations and maybe slightly lower transportation costs, that really is very sort of diffused out to the overall population. And so I think that that's, where the union is at on that attitude.
We heard in the clip mention of Rotterdam. Could you give us an idea of how automation affected that Dutch port, Europe's largest?
Yeah, so if you look at Rotterdam or any of the major ports in, let's say, Asia, much more automated. Gate clearance is going to be done automatically. You don't have somebody here checking a box and, making sure that that is the appropriate truck. A lot of container movements themselves are going to be done automatically by machinery rather than by drivers. And so these are some of the, I'm going to say, more basic technologies we're looking at, not even AI, because we're not even in the beginning of the conversation with that yet in the U.S. ports.
And so how long do you think it is likely before consumers see some sort of effect, some sort of inconvenience?
It won't be this week. It'll take at least a strike running into the end of next week. But to me, sort of the week that's make or break for a lot of things is 10/14. And that's just because as a strike takes place, the amount of disruption starts increasing at an increasing rate as this goes longer. As an example, right now we have about 30 container ships waiting to be unloaded off of these ports. That number will be up to over 200 by the middle of next week, and that number is going to just keep rising.
Okay. Good talking to you. Thank you for talking us through that. Supply chain expert Jason Miller from Michigan State University.
Thank you.